Welcome to Jacob's Quest, and today we got a brand new teaser trailer number 2 for Barbie the movie. And yeah, this movie's still a big mystery to me. I don't quite know if this is supposed to be sort of a satirical riff on Barbie or some kind of like, you know, it's still using the Barbie like actual brand name, but it's kind of a parody, sort of like they did with the Scooby-Doo live action movies, or if this is supposed to be more genuine, you know, if this is supposed to be like no, this is for kids, you know, like, so I don't entirely know what direction this is coming from, but I'm curious. And look, obviously I am not the demographic for Barbie dolls, right? I didn't grow up with Barbie dolls, but you know, it's obviously it's a pop culture thing that's been around for like what, 60 years at this point or something like that, so everyone knows what it is. So okay, let's see what this Barbie movie's about. Here we go. Oh, her feet just stay like that.
Hi, Ken.
Everything is.
Hi, Barbie. Hi,
The
Barbie.
colors are
Hi,
like.
Barbie. Hi, Barbie.
Hi, Barbie.
Hi, Ken.
Hi, Ken.
So they're all named Barbie and they're all named Ken. Okay, just like the toys, I guess.
I thought I might stay over tonight.
Why?
Because we're girlfriend, boyfriend.
To do what?
I'm actually not sure.
Okay, so it is kind of like a, you know, at least some adult-ish humor.
Okay, ladies, let's do this.
Will Ferrell, what is he doing there? Real world? Oh, is this gonna be one of those?
What are you doing here?
I'm coming with you.
Did you bring your rollerblades?
I literally go nowhere without them.
Everything is so plasticky looking. I guess they
looks
nailed
like
that
this
part.
beach was a little too much beach for you, Ken.
If I wasn't severely injured, I would beat you off right now, Ken.
I'll beach off with you any day, Ken.
Anyone who wants to beach him off has to beach me off first.
I will beat both of you off at the same time. Beat both of us off?
Nobody's gonna beach anyone off.
Okay, so they're definitely doing some kind of, who knows it. They're definitely doing a little bit of adult humor, but not like, you know, they're not like saying, you know, cuss words or anything, but they're definitely, you know, they're making the innuendos that I suppose anyone could go to this movie, but the adults would be like, oh, okay, I get the joke there, you know. Okay, I mean, I guess that would be, you know, one way to take this. Also, I guess the implication here, oh, I see I get it, they're doing rock, paper, scissors, like that's their big fight, is rock, paper, scissors. Also, like, you know, they don't know what sex is, you know, so like they just know their boyfriend, girlfriend, but they don't know what that means. So is the implication here that these, obviously they're played by human actors, it's not like CGI characters we're looking at here, but are they acting as if they are made of plastic? You know what I mean? Like, is that the idea? Because they did that thing where like Barbie's feet stay in that position just like how the toy does, right? So is the idea that like, oh yeah, these are people made of plastic, and so they are limited in what they can do and what they know, you know. And obviously they did this interesting thing here where they're going to like the real world. So is it going to be like that sort of I don't know if you guys remember, in the early 2000s there was a string of like nostalgia live action CGI combo movies where, like, you know, Fat Albert came to the real world, or Rocky and Bullwinkle came to the real world. They did like a whole bunch of those, and then later on, of course, they did like the Smurfs come to the real world. You know, is this kind of what's happening here? Because it says, what are they doing? They're going to, yeah, real world this way. So I guess that's also the direction this one is going, which is interesting. I get, you know, like that's something that's kind of, that was done a long time ago. It feels like we haven't had one of those movies in a while. But yeah, I guess the idea here is that like these are literally supposed to be the toy dolls, you know, so like we're supposed to, you know, pretend as if the actors we're looking at are made of plastic and they're actually the dolls themselves, which is interesting. Now, Will Ferrell's character, I suppose you could. He's probably in the real world, and maybe he's supposed to be like the president of the company. I don't really know. That would be my guess there. Now look, I don't know what kind of lore, if any. Okay, like see this Barbie, for example. This Barbie looks like she got drawn on, right? So like, okay, so some kid, you know, like as kids would do, right? Like they chop up Barbie's hair and they draw on them or something, right? Like that's what kids do to these things, you know. So like, okay, if that's the insinuation, is that like, oh yeah, these are literally plastic people. Okay, that's interesting. Also, they captured the 80s and 90s looking plastic. It's so bright and colorful that it kind of hurts your eyes a little bit, you know what I mean? They captured that really well. I mean, these, god, that hurts to look at. It's such a highlighter, weird yellow. But yeah, okay, it looks okay. Yeah, obviously, there we go. That's, I guess, looking at the car headlights, definitively, yes, this is supposed to be all made of plastic. Okay, so this is not a situation where in their world it's all real. It is like a no, these are plastic. It's all plastic. So, you know, maybe I'm overthinking the physics of like Barbie world, real world. Will Ferrell's character, I imagine, is like the president of the. Is it Mattel? Who owns Barbie? Who owns? Is it Mattel? Right? I think it's Mattel. Anyways. So yeah, it looks funny, I guess. Like I said, I don't have any sisters. I didn't grow up with any Barbies in the house, you know, so like if there's any kind of inside jokes or like any kind of background lore as far as like what everything is, it's gonna go over my head. So there's that. But you know, they do the adult humor innuendos of like, oh, I'm gonna beat you off. You're like, okay, I see what they're doing here, and they're just gonna, and that's gonna be a whole scene, right? And then, of course, they don't know what sex is, and so they're like, I have no idea what to do what, but yeah. So, okay, it looks like it could still be funny, even if you don't know anything at all about what's happening. And look, the truth is, obviously I'm a Star Wars and MCU nerd, so like I'm gonna sit here and get caught up in like the, you know, the multiverse or parallel realities or alternate timelines. So like, you know, I'm sitting here going like Barbie world and real world, but Will Ferrell's character looks like he's the president of the company. But then how can he be the president of the company if there's an actual place where they come from? So, you know, like, obviously I'm overthinking it. Like, it's just not that deep, you know? So, you know, that's just my brain. That's where I'm going with it. But, I mean, yeah, look, it looks funny, but it also kind of looks like those early 2000s movies where they did a whole bunch of these. They did, was it George of the Jungle didn't go to a different world. But, you know, Rocky and Bullwinkle, Fat Albert, they all, like, went from their world to our real world. You know, they did that thing. I think, did the Chipmunks do that? I don't know. Chipmunks might not have done that, but you know, the Smurfs did it and stuff like that, right? So, anyways, it looks funny. It's very colorful to the point where it's like it's painful to look at because it's what would you call this color scheme? Is it pastel colors? Is that the term? The yellows are so yellow that it hurts. This pink, it's like this bubblegum pink, and everything is that same shade of pink, and it's like. Oh god, it would drive you insane if everything was the same shade color. Like 90% of the stuff is all the same. Like that would drive me nuts. It's anyways. But yeah, that's definitely that's the Barbie world, I guess. Like that. Oh man, they're gonna play that song, right? That old who even made the Barbie world song? They're gonna play that, right? They have to. It would be weird if they didn't, I think. It would be like missing an obvious thing if they didn't play that song, even though that was some other, I think there was like some Eastern European band or something that made that song, and it was the 90s. It was weird. Anyways, let me know what you guys think about this trailer. Do you know Barbie? You know, like is the fact that this is like, oh, anyone can watch this movie, but the adults are gonna get those extra jokes of like, oh, I see what they're doing. They're doing some wordplay here. Okay, I get it. You know, like, is it gonna be entertaining enough on that merit alone of like, you don't really need to know anything about Barbie. It's gonna be funny regardless. So yeah, let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.